Well, I searched this world many years, been through all sorts of troubles and difficulties and trials. Many loved all sorts of things, just like you. And now in America, here we are, doing this work, doing this teaching, sharing this poetry, helping others, if you like, to find a deeper equanimity in themselves, find out something more true than the endless stories of self. And I've come to only one continuous conclusion, that love, on the deepest level, that we can get to it, that we can access it, is the only thing that matters. Everything else is stuff. Everything else floats around it. Everything else swirls around the fact that love is what really matters. Love is the fragrance we leave, or not. For some people, they leave no fragrance of love, and that's a tragedy. Love, and I don't mean love built on need, although that's a shadow, a fragrance of love itself, and at least it's love in some way. I'm talking about a love that's on the vertical plane, a love beyond time and the limitations of the world we built in horizontality. I'm talking about the deepest. I'm talking about going inside so deep that we discover something more perennially true, more abidingly true than anything to do with need, anything to do with conditioning, anything to do with the known, anything to do with mind. And there we may discover love. Love in its essence, love in its rawness, love simply because love is the building block of all things. Nothing to do with it, apart from live it, be it, shine it in the way that we can, in the best way that we can. Love barely has a name. In our language, there is only one word for love. I understand in Persian there were about, I don't know how many it was it 30? Or was it 130? Or was it 10,030 names for love? Love is everything. And we've forgotten it. A love replaced by all this mess of human activity, all this mess of greed and corruption and violence and hatred and judgment. This is not anywhere near love. This is a travesty of the human condition. I'm appalled, shocked, deeply saddened. What is life if we cannot love? What is life if we cannot put love at the highest, at the front, at the foremost? What is religion if it kills in the name of itself? What is that? The deepest love doesn't kill. The deepest love heals. It heals things. It heals what it touches. And it touches all things. We can't go on not loving. We can't go on hating. We can't go on filled with this endless judgment. We can't go on in this way. And yet we stumble onwards as a civilization. You know, in some ways I see civilization and it seems to be the leaders and the inventors and the creators and the builders who keep this world going. And whilst that's true to some extent, You know, our world is corrupt. If you live in America, you'll realise how corrupt our world is. Not just here, everywhere. It's not corruption that keeps the world going. It's not the builders. It's not the inventors. It's not the creators. It's love. Love has the capacity to stand in the shadows and say, I'm still here. Love is that which walks through the valley of the shadow of death, says, I'm still here, and I'm still clean, and I'm still free, and I'm still innocent, and I am still powerful. Love is the true power, stolen, as if by the devil himself. Not that I believe in that kind of stuff necessarily, but I certainly believe that there are strange forces in some way at work in the world, and love is clean and simple and pure and unadulterated, and it gets stolen as if by the ego mind writ large, gets stolen by corruption. We build the world on fear, and fear shadows love. Fear overshadows love. Fear tries to squash love, and this game goes on and on and on, century after century. It's got to end, man. It's got to end, and the only place for it to end is in you, and the only place for it to end is in me, and that is a true responsibility. Dive deeper and deeper till we come to the realization that love is the only thing that matters. Not just love of partner, not just love of dog, not just love of parents, not just love of family. Not that kind of love, but a love that has inner authority, divine inner authority within it. A wrathful, truthful, honest, tender, kind love says, no, I will not yield to corruption. I will not yield to compromise. I will stand for the light, and I will stay here until that happens. When I really looked into Jesus' story, not from the religious perspective and not as a Christian or anything like that, but just as a symbolic, a symbol of us, of how we are, a symbol of how we are and how we can be. I saw something. I saw how a light is almost crushed, is almost dimmed, has doubts, nailed to the cross, crying out, why have you forsaken me, God? Doubt. And then some more, some deeper humility, some more humbling. And this, it was, and this, even this must be sacrificed as well. Into thy arms I commend my soul. This is powerful. These metaphors that speak to us, they're metaphors. We don't have to take them as literally as we think. These beings who came before us, who stood in the light of their love, firm, humble, true, strong, a Buddha, a Jesus. Even as the judgments were thrown at them, even though the arrows, even though the executioner, even violence and the maras of deception were thrown at them, they were ones who had the capacity to say, no, I'm staying here. I will stay here as the truth of my innermost nature, which is love. Love with no name, love as truth, truth as love. Throw what you like at me, I will not move. And these are tall people, tall in stature and nobility and grandeur and essence. And many have followed small people, smaller people, who also stood for such things. And that's not somewhere else. These truths are not in somebody else. They're truths and capabilities and the capacities that live in us. They live in us. They're not different from us. We think they're different, think they're magical, mysterious, wise, masters, and yes, of course they are in some way, but they're only shining a light and speaking for what exists in us. You and I have the capacity to stand, particularly in the face of our own thoughts, beliefs, and fears, as the light of love, and to stay there again and again and again, even as we're rocked off course. I don't see any other way, and I don't see any other value in life unless it's that. Love is the only thing that matters. But that love cannot just be found easily, for the ego mind and the collective ego mind is fearful and dividing everything up, saying, no, 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 this is terrible, or else it's finding itself in codependence or neediness, and that's just not it. This has to be the journey of your life. The journey of one's life is so deep when one opens to it. The journey of deepening into wisdom, the wisdom of a kind of inner mastery, the inner capacity to stay rooted as love, presence and love. Even as the fire swirls around us, even as the storm rages, and the storm does rage at the moment. We're in America. Oh, there's the storm. Hold on, I'll have to get past this doggy who's out there every morning, barking his words. I don't know what he's trying to say. Trapped behind a fence. Let me out. Oh, hi. Anyway, there is a storm raging, and I'll take no part in it, whatever it means. I'm going to stay here as the love that I am in my essence, and let that, standing in love as love, be one small drop of beauty into the world, into the suffering. To add one drop of beauty to the suffering. Oh my God. There is nothing more beautiful than this. We don't have to be whole. We can do it from our brokenness.